Well, good morning, everyone. I'd like to first by thanking everyone for coming here today and sharing your time with me. So today in the House of Commons, I was pleased to table and present my private member's bill, which I'm calling the Free Canadian Beer, Wine and Spirits Act. The title of the bill may sound simple. That's intentional. It is that simple. Canadians have always wanted more choice in the kinds of Canadian wine, beer, and spirits they purchase. Canadian producers want to expand their market past their provincial border, and despite efforts to make that happen, fortunately it hasn't. In the 41st Parliament, my private member's bill C-311 was passed unanimously and removed the federal restrictions prohibiting individuals from moving wine from one province to another. Then, last year, the government amended the Importation of Intoxicating Liquors Act to remove the prohibition on the shipment of all alcohol between provinces. However, since the passage of my bill, C-311, only 4 provinces of this great country will allow direct-to-consumer shipping into their province: Manitoba, British Columbia, Nova Scotia, and Saskatchewan. Most Canadians are unable to order and have these delicious Canadian products shipped directly to them. In fact, it's actually easier for Canadians to purchase products from the USA or Europe than it is to purchase made in Canada wine, beer, or spirits. Now, this doesn't help our Canadian producers, and it certainly doesn't provide choice for Canadians. So I'm here to say to Parliament once more, let's get this done. My new private member's bill will amend the Canada Post Act to allow Canadians to order their product from out of province and have it shipped directly to them. It will allow our Canadian producers to find new customers within Canada for their products by allowing direct-to-consumer shipping through Canada Post. I call it buy, ship, and sip. And right now is the perfect time to make this a reality, as due to the pandemic, people are more than ever ordering their products online and having them shipped to their homes. Nous savons, en regardant la question d'entrée, le podcast de Gérard Desfilons, où il discute avec Frédéric Lorraine, professeur à l'Université à Québec à Trois-Rivières, avec un doctorat en économie, que les vendeurs québécois visent à augmenter considérablement les productions 4 fois plus. Les vignerons québécois produisent actuellement 2,500,000 bouteilles par année, soit 2 fois plus qu'il y a 5 ans, avec l'objectif d'atteindre 10 millions de bouteilles d'ici 2030. À l'heure actuelle, on voit que la production de vin du Québec est beaucoup plus forte que la croissance de leur vente, mais la demande de vin québécoise est là. Ce qui manque, c'est la ligne entre le producteur et le consommateur. In Alberta, Turner Valley Brewery won World's Best Bavarian-Style Hefeweiss at the 2020 World Beer Awards, an impressive achievement. Sadly, upon searching various liquor control boards across Canada, this award-winning beer is not available to most Canadians. Poplar Grove Winery in my home province of British Columbia won a prestigious gold medal in October for its 2016 signature blend called The Legacy. Once again, upon looking through the various liquor control boards, this wine is not available to most Canadians outside of British Columbia. Alberta Premium Cask Strength Rye scooped up a 2020 World Whiskey of the Year in its influential Jim Murray's Whiskey Bible. Now, that's quite an achievement considering the competition. Sadly, most Canadians are unable to access this award-winning whiskey in their home province. Now, there are literally thousands of examples of fine Canadian products where their producers are doing such wonderful work that is not fully accessible to Canadians. During this challenging pandemic, Canadians are being told not to travel and therefore are unable to visit these wineries, craft breweries, and artisan distillers and purchase their products that they are well known for. Canadian producers need our help to rectify this and allow them to expand their reach within our own country by allowing them to legally ship direct to consumer. It's my hope that all members from all parties will support the passage of this bill that seeks to give more freedom of choice to Canadians and, most importantly, supports our Canadian producers at a time when they really need it. Thank you, and I'm happy to take your questions.
We will now take questions, starting with questions on the phone. As usual, one question, one follow-up per reporter. Nous allons maintenant prendre les questions. On commence par les questions au téléphone. Une question suivie par journaliste, comme toujours. Operator, do we have a first question?
Thank you, merci. Please press star 1 at this time if you have a question. S'il vous plaît, appuyez sur étoile 1 maintenant pour poser une question. There are no questions registered at this time. Nous n'avons pas de questions pour le moment.
We'll now take
I would now
questions
like
in the
to
room.
turn the meeting back.
Mr.
Please.
Albas, I'm Adam Huris, the New Brunswick Telegraph-Journal. Is this effectively a workaround of then interprovincial import rules then?
So this is simply taking a federal crown corporation, which is clearly under federal jurisdiction, which transfers millions of products to Canadians every year safely and allows for Canadian beer, wine, and spirits to be available free in every province. There is a opt-out clause within it, but it, unlike previous efforts, would require more accountability in the home province if someone decides that they do not want to opt into this program. I should say if they would like to opt out.
In New Brunswick, this kind of became a dead issue after the Como case and the Supreme Court ruling. Really nothing's happened in the last few years, and New Brunswick's not on the short list of provinces you named there. Is there any concerns about constitutionality of this at all?
No. The federal government, again, Canada Post is a crown corporation whose sole purpose is to deliver mail and parcels faithfully. And this bill would allow our hard workers, both in Canadian producers right across this great country, to work with the workers of Canada Post to deliver their fine products to Canadians who want them, giving people more choice. And at the end of the day, as I said, we want to see more people buy, ship, and sip Canadian.
And Chris?
Chris Reynolds, Canadian Press. What do you reckon is behind such apparent reluctance from multiple provinces to accept the idea of interprovincial trade in booze?
I'm really glad you asked that question, Chris. Quite frankly, it is the liquor monopolies. They believe that these kinds of efforts are the thin edge of the wedge, and they believe, and they've argued this in my previous bill, C-311, that this would dampen their ability to pay provinces for important services. Look, British Columbia has a situation right now where we allow beer, wine, and spirits to come into our home province, and yet year over year we see rising support for the BC wine industry with more wineries. Look, there are many challenges ahead for all, whether it be craft brewers, wineries, or distillers in terms of tax certainty. Taxes are set to go up, excise tax, etc. There's a lot of uncertainty in the Canadian wine market for those premium products. This would be an opportunity for everyone. But you know what? The liquor monopolies are going to try and push provinces, and that's why this bill starts with for 6 months, there would be open free trade in this. And if a particular province wants to opt out, they can. But the premier of that province has to go to their National Assembly or Legislative Assembly or what have you, and they have to be able to actually say that they are, for the purposes of this act, going to do that. And at the same time, Chris, this will say if you do not want Canadian beer, wine, and spirits coming in, you can then not have them go out. Right now, unfortunately, there are many provinces that deny BC wineries the same opportunities that other provinces have to send to British Columbia. That's wrong. We live in a country built on reciprocity and being there for one another. This is an element where we can stand up and say, you know what, that's not how we're going to operate.
You referred to liquor monopolies. Is this in wine? I know about international beer oligopolies, but what monopolies are you referring to?
Well, the LCBO is one. It's the largest one. Obviously, you have the SAQ, or in my home province, the BC Liquor Distribution Branch. But look, every province has its own regime, and they will closely guard this. But at the same token, times are changing. Canadians want to be able to try out one of the whiskeys that I talked about there, or when they read about some of the fine British Columbia or Ontario wines or Nova Scotia wines or Quebec, they're looking to massively increase the scale of their wines. And there's some beautiful wines coming out of Quebec. Why would we deny people that? And you know what? I hear more often than not that people want to support Canadian first. So let's give them the option. These liquor monopoly stores can be very convenient, but they will not carry the thousands of great products that we have in this country. That's just a reality. And people want to use things like the internet, and I want to make sure that we can get them these products and help support our industry.
And I will check once more if we have any more questions on the phone. Operator?
Once again, please press star 1 if you have questions. De nouveau, n'hésitez pas à appuyer sur étoile 1 pour toute question. There are no questions registered at this time. Nous n'avons pas de questions pour le moment.
Thank you. This concludes the press conference. Ceci met fin à la conférence de presse.
Great. Thank you, everyone. Enjoy your day. And thank you for all the support staff for putting this on.